This is a production of WTVI PBS Charlotte.
The following episode of Charlotte Cooks is brought to you by Central Piedmont Community College and viewers like you. Thank you.
Hi, welcome to this edition of Charlotte Cooks. I'm Chef Pamela Roberts, and here today we are going to talk about crabs and crab meat. I want to show you a little bit about when you go to the market, how you might be able to find some crab, and I always decorate them up with lemons because I just love crab meat and lemon. But you can see you can get all kinds of different types of crab. Here we've got what's called a rock crab, and they're usually smaller, and usually when you find these, they're usually like cut in half, and they have the legs and the claws attached, but I'm not going to show you about these today too much. What I want to show you is the king crab and the snow crab cluster. Now these are really kind of nice. When you go and you buy them, sometimes the store will have them on sale. You want to look for legs that are nice and full, and you want to look for the body too, because the body is where you can get some of this wonderful, delicious crab meat. Well, how do you get the meat out of these things? This is a king crab leg. King crab leg is going to be a little bit sweeter and a little bit saltier than your other crab. This snow crab leg here is really nice, wonderful, tender, sweet meat. But the difference between these two is that your king crab is going to have a little bit more salt. I'm going to get a bowl and show you how to clean these up. So what we're going to do is we're going to, first of all, notice that there's all these little spines on the king crab leg. The snow crab leg doesn't have nearly as many spines. It does have some spines. And so when you're breaking these things, you don't want to necessarily just go up, grab it with your bare hands, because those spines can actually put a hurt on you. But before I take this apart, I want to show you in here, and be ready to get dirty, okay? Because these things are just, they go everywhere, and that's part of the fun, okay? But you want to dig this meat out of this part here. This is wonderful chest meat here, and I'll show you where this comes from when we get to our other meat. You just pull this out, and you also want to make sure you pull out any cartilage or any hard parts in there, because no one really wants to eat that part, okay? So you just get your fingers in there and dig, 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 and all these things come out. Now, take a towel and hold on to him. Hold on to him nice, and we're going to break him, okay? So now what we've done is we have separated the body of the leg from the leg itself, and look at that nice big old hunk of juicy meat you get out of that. And that's just beautiful body meat. And you could see where the lumps from the jumbo lump thing come from. And now I'm going to take this and you're going to move the meat out of here. So you can pull this like this. Pull this out. Now these are the cartilages. These are the pieces you don't want to eat, okay? So you can go all the way up and down your leg, and you can break your leg, or if it won't break on you, there we go. We got some meat coming out of here. Look at that, nice big hunk of meat there. And throw your shells away, and then we've got another big hunk of meat to come out of here. Now, if this isn't going to come out very easily, and look at that, oh, yum, look at this. All you have to do with this is just melt some butter, dip this in a little butter. Now, my relatives are Canadian, and whenever we used to get together and have crab boils or lobster roast or whatever, we used to take this and we used to dip these into vinegar. You know, think about Canada, you know, you don't really get a lot of citrus growing naturally up there, but then I lived in Florida, and oh my goodness, this stuff with butter and lemon, vinegar is still a really nice flavor. Let me show you a little bit. Now, once again, keep on going down your leg. I'm just going to show you how easy it is just to keep on going down the leg, okay, and pull them out, pull out your cartilage, and then break your unit, pull out your things, and then we're going to take it and break the shell and pull the meat out, okay? You can do this all the way down the leg in all the different sections. Sometimes you'll have nice big juicy pieces of meat all the way up closer to the body. Then you can get that big hunk of meat out of the body of the crab that's right here, and it's delicious. Now, don't forget about the claws. The claws are just as delicious. But on a snow crab, it's just a little bit tenderer. And so I'm going to show you once again. Here you see the body, and you also can see how when you pull these apart, you're going to be left with the beautiful body meat in here, okay? And this is where you get your pieces of jumbo lump crab. But I'm going to show you once again just how much easier it is to break these snow crab legs, because they're, being a smaller crab, they're a little bit more tender. And you can see, there we go, look at that. Oh, yum. You know what you can do to that? If you just wanted to go out, now sometimes crab legs can be kind of expensive. So if you even went out and just bought 1 or 2 crab legs and you were able to pull the meat out, all you have to do is take this and lay it over a steak, lay it over a piece of chicken, and then you call it Oscar. And anything with a piece of crab put on top of it is now called Oscar. Okay, so you could make a chicken Oscar, you could make veal Oscar, you could make a steak Oscar, you can make anything. But all that means is you've got a beautiful piece of crab meat laying there on the top. All right, so that's a lot of work to get crab meat out of there. And I'm going to put this aside because I'm going to show you some other ways that you can get some crab meat and not have to worry about having to crack all the shells. You can get whole blue crabs, you can get blue crabs live, boil them in a pot, sit down, and it's a lot of work to get the meat out of. But we can always go to the store and we can buy crab meat in wonderful convenience packages. This is the primo stuff here. This is what we call super jumbo lump. And you can tell this is right here. Look at all this right here. Let me see if I can get a fork and pry this apart. We have, look at all these. These parts right here are the parts that are inside of the body of the crab. And this is where you break it apart and you eat it, and it's what everybody really likes a lot, okay? And so when you're getting the jumbo lump, that's all you're getting are these beautiful body parts. Now, this is also going to be very expensive. So if you have it, don't waste it. I'm going to use this in my crab cakes later, and I'm going to show you how we're going to use it and make it without having to break up all those lumps. And so when you're eating your crab cake, you kind of know you've got a really decent quality crab. We also have something called back fin. Back fin crab is a combination of the little things that come out of the legs. It's also when you pull this apart, and it doesn't necessarily hold on to the nice lump. It's going to flake apart a little more. We also have something that is back fin can be packaged in different ways. Here you can see this is all the different pieces of the flake, and sometimes the back fin is packaged where you have the actual jumbo lumps on the top and the larger flakes on the bottom. So you can actually, it's mostly a marketing thing, but here you can see the larger pieces of crab meat. And then we have something that's called special. Special is just all flaked crab meat. You're not going to have any of the large, big pieces in there like you are with some of the jumbo lumps or some of the lump crab. It is just all the flaked crab, and it's nice, it's delicious, and it's really perfect for doing a crab dip with, because you don't have to break that crab apart, and you don't have to worry about, oh, I paid a lot of money and now it looks just like this, okay? Your special crab meat is going to be a little bit less expensive than your jumbo lump crab meat. And then over here too, we have the claw meat. Some people really like the flavor of the claws best of all. I like the claws a lot, but you can also buy the claw meat all in a package like this. Now it's going to have the knuckle meat, it's going to have the little claw part, and it may even have that little area on the claw here that has a nice little tender piece into it. So there's a lot of different pieces of the claw in here. Now one of the things you have to be aware of is if you're buying your crab meat in a can, you do have to be careful and sort it out with your fingers to make sure there's no cartilage, okay? So we're going to start with a crab dip, and for the crab dip I'm going to choose my Select. My Select is going to be all the flakes, so I don't have to worry about it. So what I'm going to do first is put it in a bowl. Now this is about 8 ounces. You know, that's really all you need. A pound, when we make our crab cakes, I'll use the jumbo lump crab, and I'll get about, probably about maybe 12, 14, 16 crab cakes out of that, which is really good value. But this is about a half a pound of Select, and I'm just going to take it and I'm going to run it through my fingers. As I do this, I'm going to carefully, what I'm doing here is I'm feeling for hard parts like cartilages. It'll feel kind of like a fingernail, okay? If you wanted to put this in, spread it out on a sheet pan and put it in a 350-degree oven for 1 or 2 minutes, something else that will happen is that any cartilage that's in there will either turn bright white or bright pink, okay? And then that's easy to pull out. The trick with that is if you forget it, your crab meat dries out, and then you've just got a bunch of lumpy crab meat that's just all dried out, and it's just not as to me, it's just not as appealing as if you maintain the moisture. You can see all the moisture in the crab. And you can see as I'm breaking this apart, it's just a bunch of flakes, okay? So this looks pretty good. It feels pretty good. I don't feel any cartilage or shell fragments in there, and that's very important you check for it. So for our crab dip, what we're going to do is we're going to turn the oven on to 350 degrees so it's nice and preheated. We're going to take a dish like this, and we're going to give it a pan spray, and we're going to make sure that it's nice and you can put butter in it, you can put pan spray in it. Just make sure you have something in it so the crab dip doesn't stick to it, okay? Because we're basically going to serve it in that dish, okay? So you come over here to your food processor, and I'm going to go through this rather quickly because I also want to show you how to do the crab cakes. Choose some cream cheese. I'm choosing the Neuchâtel cheese, and I'm choosing the Neuchâtel cheese because it is, what do you say, lower in calories and lower in fat than regular cream cheese, okay? If you're going to have crab dip, you know, you could try to cut the corners a little bit, but, you know, you got to still remember you can't sit down and eat the whole thing all at once, okay? So next, I'm going to add, if I can find another towel here to wipe my hands off, get rid of this. I'm going to add some non-fat Greek yogurt. And why am I choosing non-fat Greek yogurt? Lower fat, tangy, and it's thick, okay? It's nice and thick, so it's not going to water down the dip that I'm making. So I'm going to put probably about a half a cup of that in there. And then once again, I'm going to choose a non-fat or low-fat sour cream. If you wanted to have full-fat sour cream, by all means do. I'm just putting a couple of nice big spoonfuls in there, probably about a quarter cup, okay? Now, before I turn this on, I want to point out over here that I have already taken some shallot, celery, and garlic and sauteed it and cooled it down just a little bit, okay? I'm going to heat it up a little bit because the butter I cooked it in made it kind of solid, and I just want it to be a little bit looser than that when I drop it into my mixture, but I don't want it to be hot, okay? So that's enough for that. Okay, I'm putting this in here. Next, my seasonings. I'm going to add Dijon mustard, okay? Just a spoonful. Why Dijon mustard? Whenever you're working with seafood, Dijon mustard really makes that seafood flavor pop, okay? I'm going to use a little bit of Old Bay seasoning and a few scallions. I'm just going to take my Old Bay seasoning and put in probably a teaspoon, okay? Just enough to give it a little flavor. I'm going to mix all this up in the food processor. And I'll probably have to scrape that down a little bit. Now once again, we're just looking at mixing this together. So once this is all mixed together, we're going to take it and we're going to drop it into the bowl, and we're going to fold it into our crab meat. And we're also going to fold in a few pieces of scallion. The green tops are really nice because the green parts just add a nice little bit of color to it. Okay, so we're going to put a few scallions in there. We're also going to take some chopped spinach. Now, you can buy fresh spinach, you can use frozen spinach, but whatever it is you do, you're going to want to take it and you're going to want to put it over a colander like this, and you want to let it drain. Look at all this water that's come out of there. That's a lot of water, and if you put that water into your dip, it's just going to be a green leaky mess, okay? So I'm going to let this continue draining here on the back. But what I've done with this is I've taken it and I've literally squeeze until there is no juice left in it. And then I'm going to sprinkle this in here with my crab meat. And then at the very end, I'm going to fold in my cream cheese, sour cream, and yogurt mixture, okay? And where do the shallots and the celery come in? Right now, okay? I'm going to take this and put this in this bowl. And I'm going to drop that in. Now I'm going to start folding, okay? I'm just going to fold this mixture together. Now when you fold, you want to go around the bowl and up through the middle. And try not to be stirring it like mad because that's going to break up your crab. And, you know, it's going to be broken up enough as it is because it's a select. And now I'm going to add my cream mixture. Set that right there. I'm going to add this to the pot. And what else I'll do is add a little bit of lemon juice. Set that there for a second. Now fold. I'm just going to fold this in, okay? Fold it in, take a little bit of lemon, Squeeze it in there. If you wanted to put a little bit of lime juice in there, you certainly could. Lime juice is delicious. And now, what I'm going to do is like lay it into my dish. I have to get it all folded together. Let's put this over here so you can see what I'm doing here. I'm going to lay it into your dish, and then you're going to put it in the oven, 350 degrees, and it'll take probably about 20 minutes, maybe a half an hour, to actually get golden brown on top and nice and bubbly, okay? And that's really all you have to do. Now to serve this, just serve it up with some toast points, and gosh, some nice wine would be good with this. It'd be really yummy. Okay, now I'm going to get rid of these things. And I'm going to put this in the oven, and I'm going to show you really quick how to make some crab cakes. Okay, so now I'm going to show you how to make some crab cakes. Get a clean bowl. Crab cakes are one of those things that there's so many recipes for crab cakes. And one of the things that I don't believe in when I'm making crab cakes, I don't put red peppers or green peppers or yellow peppers or any kind of pepper in my crab cake. And my philosophy for that is those peppers are really strong in flavor. And when you put it in a crab dish, the delicate flavor of the crab is totally masked. So what am I going to choose for my crab cakes? I can choose the jumbo lump crab, or I can choose the back fin, which has both the jumbo lump and the flake, some flake in there. So you can see where the flakes are. You can see these little pieces, just like you have in the Select. And in the package, all around the outside, they have added the nice, pretty jumbo lump. So when you get the back fin, it is a combination of the jumbo and the flake style. So what we're going to do, you really want to be careful when you're doing your crab cakes and not break your crab up too much. In fact, what I'm going to do is I'm going to come over here and I'm going to grab a little bit of this so we have some pretty lumps in here. Okay, so when you bite into it, you got a nice big lump of crab, and that's all I'm going to use of that one. Okay, so next I'm going to add an egg. 1 egg. An egg in there. I'm going to add some scallions. Scallions just give this some really nice flavor. Finely chopped, hunks, whatever, scallions are good. I'm going to add a little bit of shallot, and you could take your shallot and you could dice it, or you could put it in a microplane and make it really fine. We're going to add a little bit of a panko breadcrumb. How much panko do you choose? Well, I'm going to show you right here. I'll see if I can prop that up so you can see. I'm going to take the breadcrumb, and I just want to cover the surface of this. And the breadcrumb is going to be there just to help as a binder to hold things together. Remember what I told you about Dijon mustard? Awesome in crab cakes, just a little bit. I'm also going to be adding some capers. Now when you add capers, you can pretty much forget about adding salt because they are salty, okay? So you don't need to have extra salt when you're doing this because you're going to have the salt in the capers. Next, we're going to take a nice little spatula, spoon, and we're just going to mix all this together. Get your egg broken up. Mix all this together. And you want to mix it to see if it holds together, okay? Notice I'm trying to maintain the lumps in here. You can see that the lumps are still, you can still tell the character of the crab by that lump that's in there. Put a little squeeze of lemon juice in here. And sometimes if you really want to bring out the flavor of lemon, take the zest off the lemon and put the zest in there too. Is it required? No, but the lemon is just a nice little flavor. So at this point, what I'm going to do is turn on my heat, medium-high, put a little bit of oil in the pan as soon as that pan gets hot. But now I'm going to show you how you're going to form your cakes, okay? We're going to take a little bit in your hand, about 1/4 cup, and squeeze it together in your hand like this, okay? And if it's not holding together, then you might want to add a little more of your breadcrumb just to make it hold together, okay? Just squeeze it in your hand, basically make like an OK with your hand, and make it 2 fingers wide, okay? And that's going to give you a really decent sized crab cake. It's probably about a 2-ounce crab cake, so 2 of them will be nice for a serving, okay? Now, I've already got some done over here, so I'm going to cook these off so I can get this done and show you how to serve up some crab cakes. Let me wash my hands. I'll be right back. Okay, I've got my heat on my pan, nice and hot. It's not screaming hot. I'm going to put a little oil in the bottom of the pan, just enough to coat the bottom of the pan. We're not deep frying these, okay? Can you cook them in the oven? Yes, but you won't get that pretty golden brown on them that I like, okay? And here's a little secret. When you're putting them in your pan, don't fill your pan up with them. Leave yourself a space to where when you turn them over, you can take that crab cake and turn it over and put it in that empty space. If you have got your whole pan full of your crab cakes and you try turning them over, you're not going to have anywhere to put it and you're going to end up breaking your crab cakes apart. They can be delicate, so you've got to have a light, careful hand with these, okay? So, I'm going to let these cook until they're golden brown underneath, okay? And once they're golden brown, I'll show you how to turn them over. Now, really quick, fun little tartar sauce, kind of remoulade kind of thing you can add. Take some mayonnaise. We're going to take a little bit of pickle relish, your favorite kind of pickle relish, okay? Add a couple big old heaping spoonfuls of that in there. We're going to also add a little bit of tomato paste. Add a few shallots, okay? A little bit of tomato paste. And this is almost like making a Thousand Island dressing. But this is a really good little dressing to put on top of your crab cake slider. Did you know we're going to do a crab cake slider? I'm going to show you how to put that together. Okay, let's see. It's got a nice big, pretty golden brown on there. And you have plenty of room in your pan to flip them over without having to worry about them too much. Okay, scrape them up off the bottom and flip them over. Okay, so you're going to cook those both sides on that way. Okay, and let them cook. Remember, you have an egg in there, so they've got to be heated all the way through. So we're going to go back to our mayonnaise thing here. We're just going to mix all this up, and it's going to turn into a Thousand Island dressing, kind of like a tartar sauce kind of thing. And we're going to add a little bit of lemon juice to this. I'm so glad I have all these cut lemons here because it really is making my life easier right now. Stir all this up, and when it's all stirred up together, it will look like this. Okay? So now we've got this all stirred up, ready to go. And all I'm going to do is take a slider bun that I have buttered and toasted, put a little bit of this on the top, put a little bit of this on the bottom. I'm going to take a couple pieces of lettuce, put some lettuce on there. Whoops, come on, just a little piece of lettuce, get on there. And I'm going to take my crab cake, put my crab cake right on top, top it with the bun. Dink, look at that. Put it on the plate and serve this up. Crab cake sliders. How could you not like that? In addition to that, we can take the crab cakes and you can put them on top of a nice salad. You can dress this salad with an Italian dressing. You can dress the salad with a lemon vinaigrette if you like. But this is really a nice way to serve crab cakes too, is as a crab cake salad. And now, I'm going to show you this crab dip. This is one way of serving it. We had this in the oven earlier and we took it out and decorated it for you to see. But now let's look at the one that was in the oven. Look at this. Oh, yummy, yummy. You can see it all. Look at this. Oh, how yummy is this? This is all ready to go now. You could take a spoon and put a spoon in this. Oh, look at how nice and fluffy that is. Oh, yummy, yummy, delicious, yummy goodness. Oh, my goodness. That's what you want. Take your toast points. Dip your toast. I'm gonna do that right now. Take a dip. Ha ha. Look at that. Oh, look at that delicious crab dip. Now, wouldn't you like to have a bite of that right now? I'm probably going to drop it all over my suit. But that's delicious. I can't wait to eat that. Thank you for watching this episode of Charlotte Cooks. I hope you go out and get some crab meat. And I have to say, thank you to Cassandra for mentioning, I got some crab meat. What do I do with it? Gave me the idea for the show. And I hope, Cassandra, you make some of these things and enjoy your crab meat. Thank you for watching this episode of Charlotte Cooks. Please visit our website at pbscharlotte.org for the recipes. If you'd like to drop me an email, like Cassandra did, pamela.roberts@cpcc.edu, and we would love to hear from you. Thank you very much for watching this episode, and we'll see you next time. Bye-bye now.
production of WTVI PBS, Charlotte.